Listen, I think Gen Z is onto something. I am a millennial, and I honestly think that Gen Z is onto something, especially when it comes to work culture. I keep hearing the older generations roast these people about how they're lazy, they don't want to work. They're even trying to classify millennials into this as well. But what they don't understand is that a lot of us are exhausted. And a lot of us look older than our actual age. And a lot of us don't want to be a slave to a corporation that doesn't care about us or that pretends to care about us. I think that it's not the fact that people don't want to work, it's the fact that people don't want to waste their lives working for somebody else and fulfilling somebody else's dream while they're struggling, especially while they're struggling and getting paid low wages. Because that really, really sucks. That really, really sucks. And every time I go on social media, well, almost every time I go on social media, I hear a lot of concerning things when it comes to the workforce. Like, I may be a little bit inaccurate because, I'm just talking. But there was a person that was found dead in their cubicle for like a couple of days and no one cared, no one realized. And there's a lot of stories that people have, experienced personally where when they're sick and they're told that they must come to work whether they're sick or not because of hours, and I think that that's very frustrating as a human, as an individual to go through because, money is tied to your livelihood. Money is tied to, a lot of your security. And a lot of us think that we need to work for a corporation or work for others to secure money. And I think that's false. We've been programmed since a child, through the school system to work for somebody else, to be on the clock, right? Like, you do your schoolwork and then you have recess, which is like your break, right? And they're programming your mind to be a worker instead of a business owner. They make all avenues available for you to put yourself in the position to work for yourself. Even if you don't have, funds to go to school, right? You go to school because you want to get the right education to go work and get a job, right? And I find that so interesting. I just find it so interesting how this generation, even though like a lot of them are like exhausted and tired, like Gen Z, they're not putting up with any shit. They're not putting up with anything. They're not putting up with a lot of stuff. Now, do I fully agree with, like the PTO? A lot of these things with respect to PTO, prepare the others and stuff like that. I get the mentality. I get where that's coming from. But I do think that these things are going viral because of the dramatic errors that the younger generation and even my generation has been picking up on. Like, do we really want to work 30 to 40 years or until we're 65, like 65, 70, or even 70 years old? Do we want to really work that long? And then when we're old, we're supposed to be retiring and enjoying life. Like, that's mad. That's crazy. That's crazy. And a lot of people have been programmed to say, that this is normal, this is right. I'm just gonna have a vacation for one week per year, 2 weeks per year, and that's normal. And the way the world is going now, everything is rising. Cost is rising, but wages are not rising. Like, the cost of living is rising, and wages are not rising. And I see people on social media, they'll come and be like, I cannot make my ends meet. I can't, I'm doing this, I'm working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, this and that, the third, and they cannot make ends meet. And the comments under their posts or their videos are utterly disgusting People are saying, why don't you budget better? Why don't you stop being lazy? Go get another job, this and that, and the third. And I think that's totally absurd. I think that is totally absurd, where people are justifying the fact that certain people making minimum wage or close to minimum wage, you know, or some people are very, like, qualified people, like they went to school, they're qualified for a salaried job. However, because the job market is utter crap right now, they can't work the job that they should be working or have worked in the past. And to comment under somebody's video to say you need to budget better when you barely make enough to survive is disgusting. It is disgusting. So the mindset that a lot of people who are born in Gen Z, that generation, have towards the workforce, I totally support it. Because I know that I can't be the only one, as like an older generation, I'm just a millennial, who agrees with this as well. Because I know that I'm not the only one who feels burnt out in their job. I know that I don't want to make my money being a slave to the time, the schedule, and the duties that other people give me. You know what I mean? Like, some people need that. Some people like that. That's not me. I think that's a part of the reason why I'm resonating with the Gen Z mentality, especially after COVID-19. A lot of people realize other ways to make money where they don't have to work again. You know what I mean? So I feel like the first step to escaping modern day slavery, which is the workforce in certain senses, or escaping the matrix, you know, in other senses, would be to find yourself. Find yourself. Who are you? Who are you really, without the opinions of others trying to mold who you are and to influence who you are, without your parents saying, you know, who you are or what you're supposed to be doing in life. Like, who are you? Like, who are you? Who are you? Like, sometimes everyone's focused on work, focused on certain things that they should be doing, that they think that they should be doing, you know, doing everything right, like going to school, graduating. Some people it's getting married. Some people it's, you know, the natural progresses in life, you know, having kids, all these things. Like, a lot of people are just doing these things because they think that they have to do it. You know, it's just what you're supposed to do. And a lot of people who are even tried doing things right realize that there's something wrong with it, and we're able to break out of the norm, you know what I mean, and are able to live the life that they want to live, a life where they don't have to be stuck working 9 to 5, right, or 8 hours a day. They can just get up, wake up, and say, you know what, like, I want to travel here. Let me just go. Yeah, I think I just want to, like, work out for a couple hours, and I just want to work on XYZ, like, work on their personal hobbies. So I think the first step, right, into escaping the matrix would be to find out who you are. And one of the ways that you can find out who you are, right, is obviously self-reflection, and also looking into the Word of God. So I'm going to say this because I'm Christian, right? So the Word of God, you know, talks about who you are and the fact that you're created in this image. So a lot of people's words or influences, external influences, right, have been influencing your identity, right? That may affect, you know, what you feel like you could do. You know what I mean? So, for example, if someone's talking down on you, you may feel like, okay, you know what, I'm not going to try to pursue my passion, or I feel like this is who I am, right? When it's really like not. Your spirit, your true self knows that, no, you're destined for greater. Like, you're an amazing person. You know what I mean? So sometimes you need to, like, get into the Word of God and see what the Word of God says about you. Mold your identity, right, based on what the Word of God says about you in the Bible. Because remember, we're all created in the image of God, and He doesn't make mistakes, and we're here for a reason, you know? So that's a good foundation to have it on, I think. And then, like, find out what you really like to do, your hobbies, you know, what brings you joy. Figure out what makes your spirit enlightened? What brings you joy to your soul? What brings joy to your soul? And then, try to make money off of that. You know what I mean? Because life is too short to worry about what other people think. People who are imperfect anyways. Like, who are you? I don't really care. Like, why should you care? Why are you watching me? Why are you trying to put your external influence, your external thought forms based on your insecurities on me? Like, that's mad. That's crazy. You know what I'm trying to say? So tuning out the outside noise, drowning it out, and figuring out, who are you and what do you like to do? And then try to figure out how to make money on that, because there is no way that I don't think that anybody should be waiting until 60, 65, 70 years old to retire, to start to enjoy life, when a whole myriad of health issues can be waiting for you down there, when you can't even enjoy life like properly. Like, that's sick. And the fact that for a good amount of people, the way the world is going, whatever they're doing to our food, they're putting in their healthcare products, like, you can die from anything at this point. You know what I mean? Some people may not even make it to even like 50 years old. And so you're like, has anybody really thought and stopped to think about the fact that your whole life would be consisting of working for others and paying bills and then dying? Does anyone even stop to think anymore? Okay, what should I be doing? What is my purpose on this earth? You know what I mean? So you older generations, you need to stop coming down on Gen Zers, if that's what they're called, the Gen Z generation, because they're onto something. They are not like, man, they're stressed out. They are stressed out. Like, some of them, like, they're straight up telling everybody, like, they're stressed, like, they're ready for it to be over. Like, on TikTok, even though they're making it like funny, they're making a joke out of it, it's very, very, very serious. Like, how are people like 17 years old, 18 years old, just stressed, like just stressed, like just ready for like life to be like, that's not normal. That is not normal. And instead of people in the old generation, looking at, okay, what did we do? What did we do? How did we influence this world? To cause younger generations to feel so exhausted. Like, already in my lifetime, there's been like, what was that thing in 2008? Like the crash, COVID-19. There's always something happening, like something big just happening in our lifetime. And it's just crazy. 9/11, like, there's certain things that's been happening, and it's actually big things like in my lifetime. And I think just people are exhausted of the BS. People are exhausted about the BS. People want to live life. They want to be free. They don't want to be burnt out at work, So if you're watching this today and you can resonate with this, I hope that you will start to think about how you're going to escape this matrix. How are you going to escape the trap, right, of the workforce? And let me tell you, like, there's certain people who love their job. They love to do what they're doing. They work for a company that aligns with their values. You know what I mean? And they're perfect where they are. And that's great. Like, that's great. You know what I mean? But for those of you who may not be in the best situation, some people are working like minimum wage or close to minimum wage. Some people had great jobs, great salary jobs, and now they're working a minimum wage job because of just life circumstances, health issues, etc. And your life is feeling hopeless. You know what I mean? And I'm just here to remind you, like, try to look into yourself, into the Word of God, to see what direction that you need to take. Like, what is the direction that you need to take to get out of that situation? Because this is not what God has for you. For some people, it may be like a path that you need to go through temporarily to find yourself, so that when you do make it out, you'll have a good foundation, and that's one of the things that we have to do, look into ourselves and look into the Word of God. If you are a Christian, you know what I mean, to see how God is guiding you. So going back to the fact that if you don't have funds for school, right, you could apply for a student loan, right? But like, So it's easier to get. But if you want to apply for a business loan, like, it's damn near impossible. It's almost impossible for you to get a business loan. But then you can get you can get hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to school. And I think, and it's like right now, like if you get a bachelor's degree, that's almost worth nothing. You know, you have to have a master's or a PhD. And in this economy, nothing is guaranteed because the schools want to make money. And I just find that so interesting how they'll make all of the avenues available for you to be a worker, right? You have all the avenues available for you to be a worker, but it's going to be so hard, like damn near impossible for you to be a business owner, depending on the field that you want to go in. Like if you don't want to do e-commerce and you want to go into business doing something else, it's a lot harder to get a business loan, you know, compared to getting a student loan. It's just quite interesting the way the world is set up, you know what I mean? And it's not to say that going to school is inherently wrong, because for some people, going to school, and you know, depending on the program that you're taking, can actually break generational curses and get you out of poverty. You know what I mean? But not everybody is called to be like a doctor, and not everybody is called to be a lawyer. Some people may not be that good at it. You know what I mean? And sometimes people on social media even make more than doctors and lawyers, which is crazy. Like some of them make more than doctors and lawyers. But yeah, I just don't like the way the Matrix is set up. I guess that's why it's called the Matrix. You know what I mean? It's set up to keep everybody entrapped and ensnared. Yeah. But I want to encourage everybody to do the work to reprogram your mind, right? Remember, your mind is neuroplastic, which means that it can be programmed, right? So by taking away all of the negative programming, you can program your mind for something better, to get out of this modern day slavery, because that's what it is. That's what it is. You know what I mean? That's what it is. And if in the future, like, there's people watching that want to have their own corporation, just be mindful of treating your employees with respect and as people. Like a lot of the startups today are having they have a lot of like bonuses and things like that, and certain perks that make it more enjoyable to work for them. And also, if you're still going to be applying for jobs, try to apply somewhere that aligns with your values, you know, where you don't feel trapped, where hopefully you don't have to experience burnout, you know what I mean? Because that really, really does trickle down to other things. So if you're able to reprogram your mind, say, you know, positive things concerning yourself, your financial situation, even though you don't see it as yet, it's doing something. It is doing something. It is doing something, right? Signals are always being sent out, you know, based on what you're saying to others, what you're saying about yourself, what you're saying to yourself, you know. So you want to make sure that you're programming the environment around you with positivity. And, you know, there's always going to be people that won't shut up about you, and that's their problem, right? They want to speak down, they want to send their negative energy that they have inside themselves towards you, because you know what, they see that you could be great in life, they see that you have potential, they just don't want you to see or know your potential. Yeah, find a way to drown them out and focus on what you're supposed to be doing, you know, and pray for them. Like, that's all you have to do. Pray for them. Pray for them. And keep focused on what you need to do to break out of this cycle, that this system, that the Matrix has set for us to stay in. And this is just the workforce that we're talking about here. And thankfully, the younger generation has already woken up and has created like ripple effects, you know? Even though it's through social media, everybody's on social media, you know? So those people who are making those, you know, videos and skits about prepare the others, you know, so pretty much the basis of those skits are, you know, you're going to take your vacation and use your PTO. You don't have to tell your manager like why you're sick. You know what I'm trying to say? Because I don't like that mentality too, is like, if you're taking a sick day, you don't have to tell them why you're sick. You're sick, you know? And a lot of times you are sick when you need it. So, you know, prepare the others. Like, you've already booked and scheduled your vacation time. It's approved. And in some workforces, they'll cancel, like they'll try to stop you from going on your vacation that you've worked for, that you're entitled to, that was approved, because they were not able to schedule somebody to replace you, and then try to like stop you from going. So that's where prepare the others come into play, because like, how are you gonna stop me when I submitted my PTO to have my time off, right? That's the whole mentality of the workforce. A lot of places in the workforce today, they want you to be a slave. They don't want you to have a life. They want you to kill yourself working for the job. And it's just crazy. It is time to break out of this bondage, guys. You do not have to be a slave to this wickedness, because that's what it is. So this is my daily rant for today.